What has Brexit meant for the UK economy? 10 years on from the referendum, the overall picture is clear. Brexit has made the UK poorer than it would otherwise have been. We cannot know exactly how much poorer, but evidence suggests the costs have been large. The overall size of the UK economy has shrunk, compared to what it would otherwise have been, by up to 8%. That's a considerable loss. I'm Thomas Sampson, and I'm an economist at LSE's Centre for Economic Performance. In what ways has Brexit made the UK poorer? Researchers have identified many channels. I want to focus on three of the most important and explain how we know what we know about their impact. Number one, prices. On the day the Leave result was announced, the pound fell against the US dollar and against the euro. It then stayed around 10% lower than it had been pre-referendum. When the pound falls, imports become more expensive. Something may still cost the same in euros, but you now need more pounds to buy it. Of course, prices may have increased for reasons other than Brexit. How do we know Brexit was behind the price rises? With colleagues at the CEP, we looked into the detailed price data for 84 different types of goods and services. And what we found was that prices rose the most for goods which rely heavily on imports, such as food or soft drinks or clothing. Moreover, these price increases were fully passed on to what customers pay at the till. And that meant that in the 2 years after the referendum, the Brexit-related fall in sterling raised consumer prices by around 2.9%, costing the average UK household about £870 a year. Number two, uncertainty. After the vote, nobody knew what Brexit would look like, when it would take place, or even what it meant. Faced with this uncertainty, many firms decided to wait and see. One study used data from a Bank of England survey of firms' decision-making. In the 5 years before the referendum, investment rose year on year. In the 4 years afterwards, investment flatlined. Now, to isolate if this was due to Brexit, researchers compared firms that were highly exposed to Brexit uncertainty, because they relied on access to EU markets, to those that didn't. Analysing how changes in investment differed across these firms, they found that by 2024, total business investment was about 15% lower than it would have been without Brexit. Number three, trade. At the start of 2021, the UK left the single market and customs union and began trading under new rules. Customs checks at the border, paperwork requirements, new restrictions on services trade. These barriers made doing business with the EU more costly. CEP research looked at what happened to UK exporters and importers. We used detailed customs data and compared changes in firms' trade with EU versus non-EU countries. We found that the new rules for UK-EU trade reduced goods exports to the EU by around 10 to 15%. Moreover, around 1 in 7 UK exporters to the EU stopped trading altogether. That's a loss of over 16,000 exporting firms. There's no evidence that trade with non-EU countries has made up for these losses. So taken together, the evidence is consistent. Brexit has been an economic failure.